they've already passed vote of no confidence on this government. Even God has passed a vote of no confidence on Nigeria. Until we change this leadership, inept leadership that does not have the consciousness of... The president is aloof. The president is not with us. Unfortunately, he's absent. Unfortunately, he has not joined our ancestors. He's in transition. We are in a very precarious situation in this country. We are actually in a perilous time. We've never seen what we're seeing in this country before now. Every facet of our national life is sick. From insecurity to the economy, to breakdown of infrastructure. And this completely has been threatening the very foundation of our beloved country. If you look at what is happening in this country today, at the end of the day, you will just know that it's failure of leadership. And at times, you look at it, failure of leadership at all levels, because once the head is rotten, the entire body is destroyed. The country is not only sick, but equally suffers from what I call a dreadful congenital abnormality.
What does that mean?
It means the country is suffering from a problem that is irrevocably not only contagious, but there's a possibility that there will be no redemption.
Is this real or imagined?
It's very, very real. As I speak with you, a few days ago, we had 400 Northerners were arrested in Abia at about 3 a.m. in the morning, moving in 35 buses. The implication of that is that information gathering in this country is dead. Because how will they move all the way from up north only to be arrested or accosted in the southern part of the country?
Is it in Abia or in Ondo State?
Abia.
There's an incident.
There's another one in Ondo State. Another one happened in Ondo State. So what we are saying is that we are in a very, very precarious situation, and all this boiled down to failure of leadership. And the body language of Mr. President, the body language of this government also is not encouraging. Because government, this particular government, have the strength, but they do not have the will. They do not have the spiritual will, they do not have the moral will, they do not have the political will to be decisive and take action. For example, why Nigerians are disenchanted, why this problem may not see the light of the day, is because since March last year, till this minute, our government is being run on Zoom. Federal Executive Council, back to back, over 1 year, is on Zoom.
Is it not in the light of the present realities the new normal?
It is not normal. Why are we holding the Federal Executive Council on Zoom? 3 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, 797 billion was approved on Zoom. 1 hour 30 Zoom meetings. You are not defending memos. There's no critical analysis of projects, policy formulation and implementation done on Zoom. America, that is the worst hit by COVID, don't hold Zoom executive meetings. And if less than 60 people, because the Federal Executive Council, they are less than 60, or about 60. So if 60
less
people,
than 60, actually.
Less than 60. So if less than 60 people are complaining of COVID, when 109 senators are sitting, when 360 members of the House of Representatives are sitting, then you know that it is not a problem of COVID. It is a problem of incompetence. It is a problem of incapacitation. It is a problem of gross...
The area surface of the council chamber of the presidential villa is far less than the National Assembly. And perhaps the government should not be seen to be violating the safety protocols, non-pharmaceutical measures.
No. Nigeria is Nigeria. And I want to tell you, there's a banquet hall, even with observation of COVID protocol, can take 1,000 people. That's the banquet hall in the villa. It's there. And even the chambers, the council chamber of the villa, can take 60. even with the protocol of COVID. But that's what I'm saying is that the signal to Nigerians is that there is a problem somewhere. And we have a problem because the president is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. President Buhari needs to speak to Nigerians directly, need to commune with Nigerians, need to converse with the media, need to ask questions. Our president is absent. And this have a negative concomitant effect on the war against insecurity in this country. As I speak to you, it is very pathetic, but our president is not available. This is the first time in the history of mankind that we hear presidency says, Garba Shehu will talk, presidency says, Adesina will talk, presidency says. We want to hear president say, we didn't vote for presidency.
We
didn't vote for Garba Shehu.
Are they not employed to speak for the president?
They are to speak for the president when there's a policy information. But in terms of interaction, we voted for President Muhammadu Buhari, not Garba Shehu. We want to hear president said, not presidency says. All this put together, culminate together, encourage the insecurity that we are passing through. When last did you hear the president, or have you ever heard the president sit down and say, you, the IGP, if you cannot take care of insecurity in so, in 3 months, you are fired? Have you heard the president say, come, the chief of army staff, if you cannot flush Boko Haram in 6 months, you are fired? The country is sick, killing is pervasive. Look at the innocent children in
Just
Kaduna.
a moment ago, I announced the suspension of the managing director of Nigerian Ports Authority. That's an action from the president.
That is politics. It has nothing to do with insecurity that is bedeviling us. We want to see his actions in the areas that matters. When they play their internal politics, that's their problem between the Minister of Transport, herself, and that's their own internal problem. But what I'm saying in essence is that we cannot continue to keep quiet. Unfortunately, Nigerians are yet to realize that in an unjust society, silence is a crime. This problem is pervasive because the people who ought to speak are not speaking. I'm totally disappointed in so many people we call men of God in this country. From my understanding of the word of God, in the Old Testament, prophets are change agents. God sent them to kings to tell the kings, repent, or so. That was what happened to Jonah on his way to Nineveh. That was why Moses was told to go and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. That was what Joshua did. And the same thing in the Quran. But these days, people are not coming out to speak the truth. They are afraid of Buhari. Buhari is a human being. He's not an angel. He's not a prophet. He is Buhari of Daura. I have conquered fear. I'm not afraid of anyone, because if you look at it, the tree of freedom, the tree of liberty, will only be watered by the blood of martyrs. I have conquered fear. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of arrest. They can even stay by your gate and arrest me after this program. I'm used to it. But we cannot keep quiet in the face of obvious obscurity.
Now, will you say
this country is going to the brink? Every facet of our national life, the economy, insecurity, everything, Buhari's cause F9 parallel.
Now, will you categorize Bishop Cook and Father Mbaka in this, and so many, Cardinal Naeko, many of them speaking of, will you categorize them into?
That's why I use the word some.
Okay, some.
Almost. Almost. Even the Islamic clergy, it is their responsibility to speak. Where are the CSOs? Where are the CSOs? Where are the civil society organizations? Where are the activists? Where is MBA?
Perhaps they didn't interpret the reality, the situation, the same way you have. Perhaps they could believe that things are normal.
We are all Nigerians. The people being killed are our brothers, our sisters, our nephews. Now you heard what is happening in Abuja here. How can individuals be the ones citing either Boko Haram or bandits in Kuje and other outskirts of the town when we have security agencies? Is that not a misnomer? Does it not show that something is wrong? And all this I am still telling you boils down to leadership failure. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is grossly incompetent, is not capable, And all I expect is that since this man has shown more than enough evidence that he has no capacity to run this country, President Buhari should, in the interest of children that are yet unborn, in the interest of Nigerians that are dying, please excuse us. It's not something very heavy. It's not something terrible.
Do I have
just hi Muhammad Buhari, hereby resign. But simple.
Okay,
simple
resignation is an option which he will not likely take. Then the second option is impeachment. Just 2 days ago, the APC caucus in the National Assembly responded to the issues raised by your party's caucus, saying they stand with this president, nothing will happen to this president, and this president will not be impeached. Of course, you know they have the numbers.
It is expected they will speak like that because both chambers of National Assembly, the leadership of the both chambers of National Assembly is a creation of the villa. So as you speak now, National Assembly is a department, it's an appendage of the villa.
Not a separate, independent.
You just heard that. You just heard what they said, that they will not impeach him. They will not. He's not going anywhere, despite the array, the magnitude of insecurity in the country today, despite the gross display of incompetence by this government. When last did you see your president supervising projects, commissioning projects, or visiting here and there? When last did he leave the villa?
Yeah, I've seen him commission virtually a lot of projects.
Yeah, but we are not virtual human beings. We are physical human beings. This program is not virtual. I'm talking to you. So we are not spiritual. We are not celestial. We are physical human beings. And Boko Haram are physical people. It's not a spiritual battle. Unfortunately, morally, medically, spiritually, politically, the president have failed. And there is no other door to drop all this, because he swore, had the Quran on his left hand, had the Constitution of the Federal Republic on his right hand, and he promised to defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And chapter 2 of that Constitution is the most potent part of that Constitution that says that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary occupation of government.
You raised some issues about our foreign debt, that our national debt, I moved from about 10 trillion when PDP was in power to almost 33 trillion. And your party is concerned that if we don't put an end, in fact, part of your demand is that we should stop forthwith further borrowings.
APC is what Yoruba people call Omoni Nokuno. Omoni Nokuno is a prodigal child. With the level of debt they are accumulating, we are in a catastrophic situation in this country. And they have not stopped borrowing. But the worst is that if you are borrowing for development, if you are borrowing for infrastructural growth, we can understand. But they are borrowing for consumption. They are borrowing for recurrent. Only an irresponsible father will take a loan to buy champagne. And that is what we are doing in this country. We are in a very
champagne?
Very dangerous.
I've not seen any of that.
I'm speaking is a figure of speech.
Okay,
I'm saying that we are borrowing for consumption.
Okay.
Show me all these borrowings all over the years. What tangible thing have come out of it? And the ones we are doing with China, a project that will cost 10 million naira. You go and say China is bringing, China will look at it, assess it, and say it's 100 million. That's what is happening. Nigeria will sign, say you, Nigeria, bring 10 million as counterpart your funding. And that 10 million Nigeria is bringing is what is enough to do the job.
Now,
then you will now owe them.
This is a huge allegation.
It's not a huge allegation, and I can buttress it. I can prove it. Because the same China is operating in some other African countries, carrying out different projects, including rail transport business. And we can do a comparative analysis of what those countries are paying and what Nigeria is paying.
But they're different environments.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Rail is rail. Those people even have a more complicated texture of soil than even Nigeria. So the whole thing is fraud. Instead of having democracy in this country as government of the people, by the people, and for the people, in this APC government, what we have is greediocracy. Government of the greedy, by the greedy, and for the greedy. For example, look at my state. Kidnapping every day. I was on TV the other day, I saw my governor told a compound lie that the kidnap of one of the local government chairmen did not happen in Kogi State. Something that happened in Kogi State. My own colleague, Senator Clifford Odia, was coming all the way from Edo. Within a space of 1 hour in Kogi State, he got attacked twice. Even with his mobile policemen around him. 3 of them were hospitalized. He got attacked between Okene and Lokoja. He got attacked again between Lokoja and Abaji. On the same trip. That's to tell you the magnitude of insecurity we have in this country today. And people are afraid. I don't know why. Well, people cannot speak. I don't know why.
Now, if you're concerned with borrowings and you want it to end, what about ways and means principle the central bank is using?
You cannot give.
That's the printing of currency.
Let me tell you,
a concern
the
to
problem why we will continue to borrow, this government rather will continue to borrow, is that you cannot give what you don't have. In the whole of Buhari's government, from Security and Exchange Commission to CBN to Ministry of Finance to what's it called? Budget and planning, all the financial sector of his government, there's no single economist. I challenge you. There is no single economist heading any of them.
The head of budget office?
I'm saying that there is no single. I'm talking on a live TV, and I'm open to reaction.
We'll find out.
I'm telling you that there is no single economist. Once you give carpentry job to a tailor, it will not perform.
I mentioned Akabweze, the head of budget office.
I'm talking of management of the economic structures of the country.
The budget office is critical to it.
That is not answerable to a minister. It's answerable to a minister. I'm talking of the man whose box top on the table.
Who verified that?
Verify that.
Who verified the status or the academic background of the Minister of Finance?
Go and confirm. Confirm. There's no economist among them.
Okay.
And automatically, you cannot expect miracles to happen when you are operating a government of Zoom. Okay. By Zoom and for Zoom.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We are making frantic efforts to fact-check an issue put on the table here by Senator Dino Melaye that you don't have economists in the cabinet. We quickly went through the profile of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. She read accountancy. Is there a link between them? Can't accountants function as economists?
No, at all. Accounting is just credit and debit. Economists deals with development of mankind, and it deals with macro and micro of the economics. So it deals with developmental pattern and policy formulation and implementation for an economy. Okay. What we need in this country.
We are trying to get the profile of the head of budget office, which is also critical to.
You may have to wait till after. You may have to search till after rapture. When I said there is no single economist in this government, I meant what I said. But even the National Economic Council is being chaired by a lawyer, the vice president. So you cannot be talking about, what I'm saying is that from the foundation of this government, there's insincerity of purpose, of heart and commitment. Like I said, you cannot give what you don't have. There is no agenda to rescue this country. This government came and it has been reduction, deploration, reduction, and it's all intertwined. This economic situation, this unemployment, have a negative resultant and concomitant effect on insecurity. Unfortunately, we expected that the president, who was a general in the Nigerian army, will have the capacity to tame this government. But the behavior has been like a Boy Scout. I mean, the same Nigerian army that went to Sierra Leone, that went to Mali, that went to Liberia, the same Nigerian army that did well with the United Nations are the same people behaving today like Boy Scouts. It all boils down to the body language of the CNC, who is supposed to show some level of capacity. We need a president that knows what time it is in the world today. We need a president that knows what's up. We need a president that understands global politics and global economy. We need a president who will sit down and put square pegs in square holes. But in this country, with the way things are being run, automatically, we cannot, the president should just excuse Nigerians. We cannot continue like this. And we have to say it the way it is, not minding who's all this guard. Nigerians must come out through civil means and react to this level of insecurity. Look at children being killed, kidnapping everywhere, insecurity everywhere, and there's no, if there is hope.
Just over last few days, the president held continuous for several days meetings with the National Security Council. Does it not suggest
it has been like that over,
a president
it has
who
been
is
like that,
committed towards having a firm grip of
it has been like that over 5 years. And once they finish the meeting, somebody come and address the media in front of the villa, president. That is, for me, it has become a pattern. It has become a routine. What is the effect of those meetings? We are not seeing it. It took fire and brimstone. The president reinforced failure when the service chiefs failed in this country. When a coach fielded a particular players for 20 matches and there's no goal, and you continue to field the same player, then automatically you are sick. You are not okay. Then you are reinforcing failure in the words of Olusegun Obasanjo. We must move from this dead application of power by the APC. But I'm not surprised because it's not a political party. It's not a political party. You were
with them for a long time.
Yeah, not for a long time. Once I was blind, now I can see. All things have passed away. I cannot continue to be in an NGO because as I speak to you, APC have no elected national executive officers. So they are not a political party. APC cannot hold convention. They postponed their convention twice. They've extended the life of the caretaker committee. Caretaker committee is alien to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and even the Constitution of APC itself.
But the PDP also had a caretaker committee at some point.
In 6 years, APC, they do not have a board of trustees. They've not held one board of trustee meeting in 6 years. And these are the ingredients.
I thought they reconstituted and named it Board of Elders and they were trying to constitute. But for the PDP also held for years interim caretaker committee.
Every party have a crisis period, but you must be able to manage it and come out of it. Their own have lingered for how long? And you are making a sitting governor who is supposed to be in Yobe doing his elected responsibility there to be a caretaker chairman. I mean, who does that? All their caucus meetings hold in the villa. Is the villa an extension of the party secretariat?
Okay, now let's look at what your party is saying, demanding that the president should do. He should upscale the number of security operatives, that is, recruit them, seek foreign help, ensure the creation of state police, involve states in National Security Council meeting. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, responded to some of this and he said, the party is already on this, the government is already on this path, and the PDP is aware, and yet is claiming to be providing the pathway for a government that has compass leading it to its destination accurately.
My brother, just leave Uncle Laye alone. He's just doing what he's supposed to do. You know, it's my uncle, so I would not want to. But just leave.
Okay.
They have no capacity.
But on the issues,
the APC have no capacity to even do the things that PDP is asking for. We will speak as PDP to say do A, B, and C, but they lack total capacity to do what. Who will implement all this? Is it the same Minister of Defense who is already crying foul that there's blood all over the streets of Nigeria? Who? You cannot give what you don't have. These ministers in power, presently in the Buhari administration, who have no voice, they are the ones who will do what? The solution to this problem is simple. Either the National Assembly become born again and impeach the president, or the president agree that he is medically, physically, and politically incapacitated, and then hand in the towel. Then we can now begin to rejig this country. We can now begin to work on the security architecture of this country. We cannot begin to say, okay, let's even hold a national conference or something to create a way for us to get out of this insecurity problem.
You're talking of national conference, and the presidency said some people are planning some conference where vote of no confidence will be passed on the president and cause social upheaval and lead to the overthrow of the government.
We don't need a conference. We don't need a conference to pass vote of no confidence. I'm in AIT here. I'm passing a vote of no confidence on Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Take your microphone and go to the market space. Go to motor parks and interview common men and women on the streets. They will tell you they've already passed vote of no confidence on this government. Even God has passed a vote of no confidence on Nigeria. Until we change this leadership, inept leadership that does not have the consciousness of the president is aloof. The president is not with us. Unfortunately, he's absent. Unfortunately, he has not joined our ancestors. He's in transition. We cannot see him.
Everybody.
We cannot see him.
You and I, we are in transition.
No, I'm not in transition in that regard.
We are all in transition.
No, I'm not in transition in that regard.
Nobody knows when it will be, but your party also promised to help the APC come out of this quagmire. In what ways?
That's what they have done. That's what they have done by advising Mr. President. And it didn't start today. Every time we have our NEC meeting, Secondus, the national chairman the capable chairman of our party, always give the president advice and give hints. Atiku Abubakar always give hints and advice to Mr. President. Even me, Dino Melaye, many times I came up with one or two advice, but this government is deaf and dumb. They will not hear. So the best thing is that they should excuse us. We cannot continue to see blood all over the place. Maybe he's not even aware. People should go and tell him that Nigerians are dying. Children are dying. Women are dying. There is nowhere in Nigeria that is safe. Abuja, that we are calling seat of power, they are going to run us over very soon if we are not careful. Already they have taken over the surrounding of this town. Niger State, just 1 hour away, their flag is already in one of the communities in Niger State. How can we keep quiet in the face of obvious obscurity because people are afraid? What are we afraid of? When death is inevitable. It's better some of us die to lay the sacrifice for the redemption of this country from these economic cankerworms and financial scavengers. We cannot continue to keep quiet like this. It's not possible. Nigerians must wake up from their slumber, must come out of their cocoon. We must speak the truth to power. We cannot continue to keep quiet when we have a president that is aloof, a president that will not talk. Who do we blame if not the president? Now, because if everything goes well, we will give him the credit.
Now, let's talk on the solutions. To what extent will state police help to solve this? And how soon can we enshrine it in our statute?
To a great extent, it will solve the problem. But this government will not establish state police. It's still the same problem. Look at our elections. In the 8th National Assembly, we passed the amendment to the Electoral Act. The president refused to sign. Now, the National Assembly said they will pass it in February, they will pass it in April, extended it to June. They are not going to do it.
You're certain about
I'm telling you, if we do not have a credible electioneering process that will bring up authentic, progressive, intellectually mobile characters in all our elective positions, then where are we going
Why would the National Assembly not see through the process of amending?
What are they even waiting for till now that they've not passed it?
They've held public hearings, both chambers, both committees on the Electoral Act. In fact, in December, January, they sat in a hotel in Abuja and harmonized. What makes you reach that conclusion that all the energy they put in, they will
because the leadership of the National Assembly as presently constituted, I said, is an appendage of the villa. If they finish, they will still take it to the villa. And if Villa say KIV, it's KIV. Is that the kind of country we're going to run? And Nigerians will keep quiet? And people will not ask questions? Everybody should keep quiet? Is that the kind of country we call we're dreaming of? I don't want tomorrow when my child grows up and asks me, Daddy, when Nigeria was getting bad, what did you do? I want to be able to say, I said A, I said B, I said C. Don't they have blood flowing through their veins? Are they not human beings? Can't they see the magnitude of killings that is going on? What are people still doing in this government that they're not resigning? Why?
Okay, you also talked about creation of National Border Protection Force. That's apart from state police, you want creation of additional security institutions,
Yes.
and added to recruiting additional people. When we have the numbers, you think it will help to indeed lift up the security situation?
It is definitely, it is known that we are under-policed in this country. And there's inadequate protection from the security agencies. So an additional provision of such security outfits will help us. The area that I thought the president was coming to fight was corruption. But corruption has been redefined in this government. This government have looted like no other government have looted in the history of this country.
That's another allegation.
It's not an allegation. It's not an allegation.
We only qualify that after a competent court had declared so.
Which court in Nigeria? Which court in Nigeria?
We still have to rely on the courts.
We have no choice. But with the story of what happened to Ononge and the whole thing that's happening, you know what I'm talking about. We are a sick nation. The only thing that can rescue this country is for Nigerians to stand up in a peaceful and civil manner and react to this satanic administration that is supervising the killings of innocent Nigerians.
Now, it's very hard, strong words they're bringing in satanic and they're not very friendly for broadcast.
The situation is not friendly for Nigerians. People are dying.
But
abnormal situations demand abnormal instruments.
Yes, but we have to be careful so that we don't
I understand you don't want to pay NBC fine because once you speak the truth now, NBC will fine you.
No, it's not issue of
5 million,
NBC.
10 million. No, I understand what you're saying.
It's issue of
I understand what you're
moderating
saying. But the
views,
truth of the matter is that the truth must be spoken irrespective of whose house is guard. We are not afraid of them.
Now, Electoral Act not yet in place. What do you expect your people in the National Assembly, your legislators in the National Assembly to do in order to give added push to the process, almost at the end, just a little.
The only thing we can do is to speak to the caucus, the PDP caucus in the Senate, to continue to fight and antagonize all the negative manifestations of the APC. But you saw the caucus of APC saying no matter what, they are behind the president, even when it is so obvious that the man has failed, that the government is completely down, that these killings, they have no capacity to stop it. So the National Assembly, honestly, I think constituents should start asking each of their members, either in the House of Reps or in the Senate, questions. Because things cannot be this bad. And some people are still saying, say Baba, say Baba. Which Baba? With the way Nigeria is going now, some people will still be saying that they will not impeach, they will not question, they will not, then they are our problem.
How is your party preparing for that 2023 elections?
We don't even need to prepare anything. It is not obvious. When in 2014, 2015, a bag of rice was 7,500, today is 25,000. I used to fly economy to Lagos 23,000, today is 70,000. So what are we preparing for? I used to go to Meshai, 15 naira, I take Indomie, egg, and tea. Today I can't do that again. So already campaign on campaign itself now. It's already obvious. Nigerians are disconnected from APC. APC came to destroy this country. And we were scammed. I apologize to God Almighty, and I apologize to Nigerians for ever supporting President Buhari. Buhari scammed me. I was scammed.
Is it? No, now that Buhari scammed me, that's another strong word. You voluntarily.
I was the MC of his campaign in all the 36 states.
It was a voluntary action.
All the 36 states of this federation. Because I respected the words of an elder that I am going to stop corruption.
It was a voluntary.
I am going to stop corruption. It was based on a promise he made.
Did you take the action when you, in your younger days?
How do you mean?
I mean, when you were quite young, was it now? Are you regretting now that you have matured and all that?
It's not a matter of maturity. it is a matter of trusting an elder. An elder says, come, I'm not happy. And where he got me was when he wept. So that's why I'm not perturbed with Smart Adeyemi's crying. Because crying is now a strategy to get people to believe what you are trying to sell. When Buhari cried, I said, hey, chai, see Baba, oh, see old man, they cry. This man must mean well for this country. And when they tried to assassinate him, and the way he said he's a general, he can tame insecurity, the issue of Boko Haram and the missing girls at that time, I believed him. Not knowing that I was calm.
Why I asked whether it was while you were young and you were a teenager, because the Minister of Communications and Digital Technology renounced some of his beliefs and said and statements he did it when he was quite young. Is that the same with you?
Anybody who is 14 and above is conscious of his pronouncement and what he's doing. And this one I'm talking about 5 years ago. I cannot be a teenager 5 years or 6 years ago. I'm saying that I was calm because I was led to believe that this man meant well for this country and he has the capacity and capability to carry us out of the woods.
That doesn't sound scam. You were convinced.
It's scam. When you tell somebody what you don't mean, when you lure people to go into a project that you know is deceptive.
So many people had that conviction and went in. It's far from being
Many of us went and many of us are out. I'm repeating again that we were scammed. It's one of the greatest con that came out of Africa.